Baby Beard Media. Shut up and take my podcast.
Shut up and take my podcast.
Shut up and take my podcast.
Shut up and take my podcast. Shut up and take my podcast.
Shut up and take my podcast.
Stereotypes. The foreigner. My customs are different. Upwards inflections. Australian.
Your beer belly is so big, your door doesn't even close, and that doesn't even make sense.
The sentence ends well with, I got advice from Nixon.
We're a G-rated.
This is a problem. Are we? Drama podcast.
Trademark. License. Copyright.
Don't say those words.
Shut up and take my podcast.
Nailed it.
That was nice.
Welcome, everybody, to Shut Up and Take My Podcast, the Futurama podcast where we look at every single episode of Futurama from the beginning all the way to the end until it concludes.
That's getting polished.
Yeah, you sound so sweet and refined.
I'm going to do the whole episode like
The
this.
whole episode. Hello, listeners. Welcome to the happy hour.
I
No, we're not
am
doing it for an hour.
Sean, and I'm here with James
Hello.
and Philip.
Hi.
How are you all?
I'm modest.
You're modest?
I'm modest.
Are you neutral?
Yes.
I'm feeling smooth. Full of jelly. I'm full of male
Full
jelly.
of jelly.
Yeah.
Great segue to the current episode.
See what I did there? Well, don't see what I did there. We'll see.
Why-
Listen what you did to
Don't say C word. Why must I be a crustacean in love? I don't know what that's in reference to. I just assume every Futurama episode is now
Why must I
referencing
be a
something.
fool in love?
A fool in love.
Yeah, I
Oh,
believe
obvious.
it's not so much a pun. It's just they changed one of
just
the
a thing.
words. Yeah.
Director Brian Cheesley, who's back from my favourite so far, which is When Aliens Attack.
Yep.
And Eric Kaplan is the writer who's back from Hell is Other Robots, which was Chris's favourite.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, I said he was a current writer for Big Bang Theory, just so you know. I also wrote for Malcolm in the Middle and
Really?
David
Okay.
Letterman.
Oh, it's getting around. It's getting
Yeah,
around.
he's got a bit of a career behind
decent
him.
body of work.
First episode of the year 2000.
Oh,
So they had a bit of a
Really?
break. They came back
Okay.
February 6th, 2000.
Oh,
Well, that's a running theme in Futurama's production. Having a bit of a break.
I wonder if
Foreshadowing. It was a little break for a big
we got
one.
cancelled, now we're back. And no real introductions. I mean, we've got the planet Decapod 10, which is the Zoidberg's home planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a bit more of his kind of species, I guess. Yeah.
Decapodians.
And we'll see them later on when they take over the planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Decapodian embassy.
Yeah.
Yep. Who wants to run down the plot?
I'll do that. This episode is Zoidberg focused and is about Zoidberg coming into heat. He gets full of male jelly because it's mating season on his planet.
That's the way to put it.
It's
Yeah.
about his quest for love on his home planet and his rivalry and love with Fry because he fights Fry for the hand of Edna.
No, this is the first Zoidberg-centered episode.
Yeah.
It's the first time Zoidberg's a main central
It's
character.
the first time we get like real depth in Zoidberg rather than just getting a few gags per episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fleshed out.
Yeah, he's
lot more?
He's got like layers there. He's worried he can't like be like other men, you know? Like he gets rejected. Other crustacean
Decapodians.
Yeah.
Decapodian.
Well, that's the thing of this episode, which I think is the strongest element of it, is that it's really an exploration of human mating habits.
Yeah,
it's about
exactly,
love
yeah.
in general. It's about how we attract others, mating displays at the beach.
Yeah, even
and-
Bender says that. The
Yeah.
whole thing
Yeah.
is just
He's the
what
same
humans
as you.
do. Yeah, the exact same thing.
Yeah, shooting DNA at one another.
Yeah.
And also, this is straight up a Star Trek parody. There's an episode called Amok Time in the original series where Spock has to go back to Vulcan to participate in a barbaric mating ritual.
Yeah.
It's pretty much an exact
What's-
Star Trek episode.
And then
What's that called? Because they call it kaplak
Krashra?
in this, but I can't remember what they call it in the original Star Trek.
I was going to say, what do we call... Like, I've been trying to say it in my head for the past couple of minutes.
kaplak.
Kapra?
Kaplak.
Kashna.
Kaplak.
Yama.
I think the
I can't
voice is
say.
going to have to be the king, right?
Like caviar.
Caviar.
Yeah.
You've got a caviar all over your neck.
What do we think?
Look, I love this. It was always an episode stuck in my head, mainly because of that one image of Fry getting his arm cut off. And that shocked me so much that you'd get like a main character lose a limb because I expected him to either win the fight or just for them to be like, all right, let's not fight each other.
Yeah, it does that. It's that moment as well of the speech that brings everyone
it
together.
brings everyone together. We don't get that. He just cuts off his
Just
arm,
someone
and
said
then
it.
everyone realizes, oh, everyone's gone.
Yeah.
I guess it was like shocking that part, so I always remembered that. And plus, just us first getting a story that's centered around Zoidberg.
Yeah.
And it being so, I don't know, emotional, I guess.
I love Zoidberg, so
Yeah, I enjoyed the first minute when we're on the couch. There were so many little gags and jokes in there. I didn't remember it being so funny at the beginning.
What is it, like the robo-router who cleans your toilet and then you
Impacted bowel.
I wrote it down, which is and we can also help with an impacted bowel.
Yeah, so good.
That just made me almost spit out my Subway.
And then like a
Having a
minute later,
time.
they're in the
Yeah.
gym and someone's using the Kegelizer, like lifting weights.
and it's just a woman's. It's like the weight's going up and a woman's face like contorting as she uses the Kegelizer.
I didn't get that when I was a kid.
I also love shitty technology. Bender trying to get another beer, so he pushes the button, comes out from the TV over his head, but it's just getting his chest.
Yeah.
So he struggles to kind of get underneath.
And also they make fun of their own jokes as well.
Yeah.
Amy says, "Your beer belly is so big, your door doesn't even close," and that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
That whole thing, I thought it was going to be beyond that. It's not an overly funny episode. I think as far as laugh out loud moments,
There are a lot of good
concerned.
gags, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of good
some. I
gags.
don't find myself like really chuckling a lot of those gags.
No, it's a smarter episode.
There's there's smart stuff like they go to Red Primate instead of Red Lobster. Just neat little things like that.
Which is an American
Yeah, it's an American,
chain.
yeah.
Red Lobster, yeah. I mean, they like Futurama always trades on those background visual gags.
Yeah,
They're great. Like there's the beginning, they're walking through the gym because they all go to the gym because Fry and Bender are being lazy, and there's like one alien who's just like all legs.
Yeah, he's just
on the treadmill.
Like he doesn't even need to run. He's probably very fit.
He just rotates on the treadmill.
Well,
It's
he's
great.
not that fit. Did you see how round he was?
Maybe that's just what his species is.
He was a lot bigger before
He
that.
was a lot bigger.
They have a lot of fun with alien designs, I've realized. The more,
Yeah.
like, especially just background aliens, you just get to see a lot of fun. Like,
But
we'll
it's
see
like they find like there's this like specific task. They find an alien that's perfect for it, and it's doing it anyway. It's like like a leg running alien on a treadmill. Just kind of redundant.
It's always every day's leg day for that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, like, did it have arms?
I don't think it had.
It did have arms.
Did it?
Yeah, had
Oh my
arms.
God.
It has like so it's round with two arms next to it, and then just legs all the way around. No, I remember that pretty clearly.
So many good things in this, like when they finally get back from the gym, like Dr. Zoidberg's tied up with rubber bands.
Yeah, like a lobster in the to go in the pot, right?
And then,
Yeah.
like Amy's like, "Fool me 7 times, shame on you. Fool me 8 or more times, shame on me."
Yeah, they really trade on Amy being really stupid in this
And it's
episode.
like, he told me to hold these.
Which is funny because I keep forgetting this. She's an engineering intern
Yeah, she's really smart.
She's got
from
some
Mars
smarts.
University.
Yeah, well, people can be really smart, and know specific things, but like general kind of ditzy.
Yeah. She definitely falls into that. Yeah,
Funny moments, anyone?
I think it's a really kind of this is one that trades much more on its story,
Yeah.
and much more on the kind of emotional arc of all the characters. There's not really any side plots.
That's what I liked.
No, not really. It's pretty much it revolves around Zoidberg and Fry with Edna as the introductory side character.
Yeah.
And that's there's no.
It's the
nothing-
classic like I don't know how to talk to women. Someone help me and like radio.
But the joke being the person who's giving you the advice has no fucking
Terrible.
clue. How to
Yeah,
use my
Leela's
left
involved on the
language.
side, but she doesn't have her own plot. She just kind of loosely tied to that little plot to come in and do her
She
Leela
falls into that
naggingness.
quite a bit to be like, "You're an idiot. Why are you doing that?" She does that a
Yeah,
lot.
Leela nagging.
Yeah, Leela nagging.
And accidentally like furthering the plot as well when she says it was Fry saying that all along.
That hideous alien said those lovely things.
And that's also another kind of cliched plot trope is the woman who's like desperate in love with the guy and he's like, "Oh, I don't want any part of this," and it turns into a rivalry against his will. That's kind of like a trope.
There's a few interesting things to note about this episode in particular. It's important for 2 reasons. Number one, it gets an Annie Award, so the animation awards.
Oh, really?
So Brian Sheasley, who directed it, he got the Outstanding Individual Achievement for directing in an animated TV show for this episode.
All right.
That's their first award for 2000, as far as I'm aware. Also, this is the first time they got a significant drop in ratings.
Really?
Because they moved their time slot.
Oh,
So they
sure,
moved.
for sure.
Where did they move from? They were on the Sunday 7:30 slot. No, sorry, they moved to Sunday 7:30 from 8:30 because Malcolm in the Middle
Right.
took over for them, and then it dropped from 12 million to 6.7.
Oh wow, that's a bad decision.
Yeah, that's a series low for them at that time.
That's kind of hard because it's a really great episode.
And they haven't even
Yeah.
hit their stride yet. Like, we have a lot more classic episodes coming in the next season or so, so they haven't even hit their peak.
This is like you. This is one that really stuck in my mind, and I think it's because of the strength of the plot. Like it's a good story, you know. Outside of the gags, it's a good little tale with lots of conflict and some emotional highs and lows, and a reveal at the end as well, where Zoidberg has to choose to mate or or die.
Just all
Mate and
die?
die.
Yeah.
Mate and die or be
Yeah.
celibate. You know, that's a little reveal at the end.
Tough
so
choice.
has a real kind of nice arc to it. I think that's why it sticks for me.
Yeah.
It's like it.
But it
That was my question. Did they all die?
Yeah, they all
like,
died.
as in on the planet, just everyone?
Everyone
Everyone
who
who
mates
mates,
does.
yeah.
Like, according to them, it's just like, yep, it's everyone. You don't see a single other Decapodian walking around. It's just Zoidberg.
Yeah,
Was
the
like
last of his kind. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Maybe they develop really quickly in the society, just like
Yeah, man.
We ate Vinny.
Yeah, Vinny didn't change in all those years. He just sucked him
Vinny
up.
was a
Visits
snail.
visits his old scuttling ground and just finds. But that's the one thing I was asking. So did Vinny just never age?
Vinny was a different species, I think.
But yeah, he was
Yeah,
just,
he's just a
He
like a
was
snail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just a snail that beat him up as a kid.
a little
'Cause
dick,
he says-
dick snail.
Yeah, Zoidberg says I used to scud around here when I was a lava.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's in his
that's
larval
true. That's
stage,
true. Because we
yeah.
see Zoidberg later on in his different forms. Because Zoidberg has about 12 different forms. When they regress back into their
Oh,
older
yes.
selves,
Yeah,
Zoidberg
yeah,
keeps
I remember-
changing
yes.
into different things. Just a dick snail then.
Well, he
Vinny
has a
was.
different form in this. He has that cool crest.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
We're all doing a crest motion with our
Yes.
hands
crest
now.
with a hand. There you go.
Um,
You can see that. We'll take a photo. We'll take a photo
Yeah, what's
later.
it? Brock.
Get
So-
your jelly away from me.
So you know, I was thinking maybe later, bro.
Yes, well, I've got the most jelly, so no.
How diplomatic she is. It's like,
Yeah.
look, you're just not as good as me.
Yeah, an inferior.
So
Yeah, they're very
No?
they're very blunt as a species. Like they're very like I need to find a superior
Yeah.
male, like saying how ugly and gross people are.
Well, Zoidberg's like his character arc is you taught me emotions.
Like love, jealousy, and a love of disembowelment.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fry, tell me, disembowelment of your species, fatal or not?
Yeah, it's like, more money on me. It's like, is there supposed to be a feeling other than wanting to mate with another species? I don't know. You probably got something.
He says, give her a compliment.
Yeah.
And he says, you look malnourished. Are you full of parasites? She says, yes, thank you.
I just love during that, like, he's actually scuttled in like a hermit crab in a big shell. Do you notice that? Like,
Oh, yeah,
Fry's in
he's,
the
he's
Fry's-
basically a hermit
Because
crab.
he's
Yeah,
doing
he's in a Nautilus
He's
shell.
hiding as the hidden
Yeah.
poet. Favorite moments and moments that you thought did not work.
Can I go first with my favourite moments?
Do it.
My favourite moment has to be when crazed, frenzied Zoidberg bursts into the pregnancy exercise pool. Bursts in, and they're all doing gentle exercise to not overly stress. Pregnicize, yeah. And he bursts from the water, and then there's a splash and a baby, and they call for a doctor. So I'm a doctor. And then three
All
more
the babies.
babies.
He does the same thing in the shot just before that, where he goes into the stationary bicycles.
Yeah.
When they see him, they start cycling faster.
Apart from that, it's hard. I mean, I just love the Amy gag where she keeps falling for Zoidberg's tricks. I don't know how, but I just love it so much. That and just like, I guess like going into the full Star Trek. Dun, 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 and then
That's the
like,
national anthem.
Yeah.
The national anthem.
Dun,
Played
dun,
by
dun,
like a
dun.
dowdy old lady.
Yeah. And then like obviously the arm cut off, and it's just like, oh my god, because it was just a shocking moment when I was a kid. I always remember that.
The first 10 seconds of the episode.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
ad, the impacted bowel.
So funny.
But like with the robot's arm just rotating, like, oh no, don't want that in my bowels.
No, thank you. It's a very good cold open. Well, it's
Yeah.
not a cold open because it doesn't.
It
come
felt
before
like
the
a cold
credits.
open. That
Yeah.
was the weird thing, is
yeah.
it felt like that could be separated from the episode, that and the beer, and then
Then have the credits.
Got straight to the gym.
yeah,
Basically, yeah.
exactly. So could you actually don't need to explain that they're at the gym. I would accept that if the episode started there.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, they
They go to the
decided to
gym.
go on an outing.
Okay.
Like when aliens attack, had they just started at the beach, it would have.
Yeah, but they've got a few gags to squeeze in.
I'm going to sneeze in a moment.
It's
Oh.
worth
Oh,
Oh
Oh,
it's gone.
no,
gone.
okay, that's what
Okay.
the filter's for.
Moments that didn't work.
the sneeze.
No, okay.
It's quite hard actually.
That's very hard because I just love the gags and the structure and the way like it really goes into like Zoidberg trying to find a mate. Just everything about it I just find really like right from the beginning, and even the first 5 minutes when they're even at the gym, everything feels very charming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everything, like all the gags, like nothing feels wasted. There's no really wasted space. It's just a warm feeling. I don't know if this is nostalgia because I've seen it so many times.
I think you're
but
on heat.
It's my male jelly. I need your eggs.
The James jelly.
The James jelly.
Jamie jelly.
No one wants the Jamie jelly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe I'll come back to it.
Once
but
we've...
I would think.
What is an award-winning episode.
Yeah.
I think that shows...
For directing, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, which means, like, as it's directed well, it means, as you say, not a lot of the show is wasted or falls flat.
Yeah.
I think there is just one or two gags that aren't that... I kind of don't like when there's this really odd moment where the central conflict comes in, where Edna is trying to seduce Fry, and then Zoidberg comes in as like a southern gentleman wearing a suit,
White
champagne.
suits, thongs.
So brilliant.
and Fry discovers he has to either like die at Zoidberg's hands or mate with Edna.
Yeah.
And he does. There's this weird zoom thing where he like pulls at his hair and he goes.
I think it's got to be
It's a
referencing
black
something.
It's really weird. It threw me out of it. I
gotta say that
and he's in this
like-
weird underlight as well.
Yeah, it's really odd
I like
moment.
the idea that the Southern gentleman was something told to him by Fry to do. Women love Southern gentlemen. Wear this suit. Why?
Well, what does he do? What do you do on your first date? Flowers, champagne, lame conversation.
Lame conversations. Men versus women.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was at first I was a bit worried about the lack of laughter that I was having, but as the episode progressed, it's propped up by the plot. Straight up, it's plopped up by this plopped up.
Yeah,
Plopped up.
Plotted up.
The plot is plopped up by the episode, by the like just the strength of the story, and Zoidberg as a central character works. It's like in a couple of episodes' time, we'll have Hermes as a central character. They're starting to explore out of the triumvirate, which is nice, and he holds his own. And there's such like a wealth of a world that you can explore with Zoidberg and his culture and the Decapodians and the home world. Like I do love episodes where we can stay in pretty much one location for the most part.
Yeah.
The entire episode is centralized on that planet. Didn't work as well on Fear of a Bot Planet.
Yeah.
But that's just the episode.
That's the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a great one.
Having what you said just before you started talking about that was like, men versus women. I do think that is a little bit reductive in this episode.
Some of the
Men don't understand how to talk to women. Men just want sex. Women
women just want to talk.
Yeah.
Let them talk, and that's what they want to hear. And
It's a little bit, it's a little bit reductive.
A little bit of the doesn't work in 2017 sort of deal.
Yeah, but it's like Fry, a man from the 90s who doesn't understand women.
Yeah, I mean, you can
understand where it's coming from.
You can justify it, but it just doesn't read as well as it would have back then.
Yeah,
obviously, yeah.
You know.
I do want to expand on this whole like drilling down into Zoidberg is this kind of getting out of the main cast and how much strength there is in what are kind of up to now the supporting cast.
Yeah,
and I've always thought that Zoidberg is this really great foil for Bender. So Bender's really central always, and everybody loves Bender. He's super popular and completely horrible to everyone, selfish, mean. Whereas Zoidberg is really generous and loving and cares about everyone. Yes, he's completely incompetent, but like he's like genuinely really nice.
Yeah.
Everybody hates him.
Yeah.
Nobody respects
They
him.
double down on that so much as the series progresses. He becomes poor. Everyone hates him. He's even more incompetent at his job.
He lives in the dumpster, and doesn't he lose his shell? He doesn't have a shell for a while. Like, it's so pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he can be more incompetent at his job. He manages to reattach Fry's arm on the wrong side of his body, and then when attempting it again, removes his legs.
He knows humans.
He knows humans.
Games like humans, right?
Robots and humans. Yeah, I remember thinking about, because I always enjoy when they focus on a relationship between just two characters. So in this one, we basically expand on Fry and Zoidberg. We have a lot of Fry and Leela, Fry and Bender.
Yeah.
I always thought about what, at least to my knowledge, because I've only gotten up to about season 5 in terms of what I really know with Futurama. I've never seen a episode that centers on a relationship between Bender and Zoidberg, and I always thought that would be a really interesting combination. That you mentioned that little tidbit about them being opposites. I think that'd be a really interesting
combo. I can't think of any episode that really kind of
but
focuses on their relationship.
Bender, just put them like, just imagine an episode where they get stuck on a planet. Or
they're
something.
stranded, like a bottle episode kind of thing.
I can't imagine them together. I think there's
like the odd couple.
Yeah.
You can make some good visual gags about how they were like a hard shell and stuff.
Yeah,
like, I think there could be
and like they can
something
learn like that they're actually a lot alike. like.
Yeah, that'd be good. Let's write that episode.
There we go. Bring back Futurama again.
Yes.
The Lost episode. It would be like a sketch comedy. It's the spin-off where Zoidberg moves in with Bender.
Right, okay, it's like a sitcom.
It's like a sitcom, Odd Couple-esque.
And we'll do it live action, we'll just do it in cosplay.
Yeah.
So it'd be I Roommate 2.
Yeah, I Roommate too, yeah.
Yeah.
What's I Roommate?
My Roommate's the third episode where Fry moves into Bender's.
Oh, closet. Yeah.
He left his three flakes of skin in the corner.
Oh, thanks for those. I wonder where they were.
All right, how do we think this stacks up against the previous episode?
I'm going to vote for it.
I'm going to vote for this one. It is such a good episode. It's very memorable, great plot, good writing, great direction.
Yeah.
It's just, it's solid all the way through this episode. So
This definitely gets the win. I'm sorry if you voted against it.
No, I'm stuck. I think no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think this is an episode that a lot of people remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
To be honest, I think a lot of people have this stuck in their head for the obvious, like Star Trek reference, and it's just one of the top ones,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
so far.
Well, it's like the only Zoidberg-centered episodes I can think of is this one and the Invasion episode where his
Yes.
species take over. And because it's a character we only use kind of as a punchline, I guess it's more memorable to have them like have such a great episode but have such depth into it.
I think getting halfway through the episode, I thought I was going to be sticking with Xmas story.
Yeah.
But because they doubled down on the plot and
Yeah.
didn't try and make it about the laugh out loud gags, and they didn't try too hard on that point, they just focused on telling the story, really exploring Zoidberg as a character and where he can go. The episode stands on the merit of that streamlined approach.
And it's got a cool action scene. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that helps.
And Star Trek.
But-
And
he's-
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
And he
Star
tries to
Trek.
crack his shell open with a nutcracker.
With a nutcracker. It's great. Yeah, he has a choice of weapons between like this sharpened spade, like a ribbon with two spiky balls,
Yeah.
and a giant oversized
Yeah.
nutcracker.
And I think there's like a reference when he holds the nutcracker and the way he spins it, it looks a lot like a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nunchucks. Yeah.
And even like I don't even know it's a reference when Dr. Zoidberg is doing weights and he keeps asking for more and more and more. I swear that's a scene from Unbreakable with Bruce Willis where he keeps doing weights and he keeps asking for more and more and more. But I don't know if that's just a lucky
It
coincidence.
might be a lucky coincidence because I
It
don't
came out like a
recognize.
few years before this.
Unbreakable was 90. Oh,
It was the
I
late
always
90s.
get this wrong. Which one's first? Sixth Sense
Sixth
or
Sense,
Unbreakable?
then Unbreakable.
Unbreakable was 2000.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it just might be
Really?
convergent rather than because it doesn't feel like a reference.
No, it doesn't feel like a reference. It just feels like something that happens to be very similar.
Yeah.
But just something I notice.
Unbreakable came out in
Unbreakable.
2000.
Really?
Yep.
So they came out very late. It came out later than this.
Yes.
I would say so. I'm about to give you
Because
an
this is
My
right,
God, okay.
right at the beginning of the year. This came out. So.
Came out, yeah,
Coincidence.
November.
Just good
November of
coincidence.
2000.
So, arguably,
they stole it
Breakable
from
stole this-
Futurama.
M.
stole
Night.
this-
M.
M.
Night's
Night
doing
was
it.
watching. He's a Futurama fan.
He loves Dr. Zoidberg.
That explains the twist at the end, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. Ask you a question.
Did you just ruin your own?
Yes.
Yep, okay.
Really
Yes. Okay. Do you have sex and die or live?
Oh right, your life without sex.
But
or
it wasn't
gruesome
even
death.
die. It was die gruesomely.
Yeah,
die
gruesome
gruesomely,
death,
and then
yeah.
get eaten by seagulls.
I'm a pretty visceral person. I'd go for the sex, but like I'd make it really good.
I mean, before I had a partner, I didn't really. I wasn't a stud, so
I've never really done the sex before, so
I wasn't as much of a stud. So I think I'll just. I'm fine. I
Just
like
live.
life.
Okay.
You'll live a
I'm
life
happy
of the
having my
mind.
body parts attached to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You don't get eaten by seagulls.
No, space seagulls.
Yeah. Well, what if? Yeah, I'd probably like put in a good innings and then
Try and get in halfway. Get out halfway.
Yeah, and just like when things get a bit boring and shit, then I'd be like, Sorry, I can't swear, can I? Can I swear?
Oh, he's fine. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
beep it.
I can swear.
Got
Awesome.
an explicit rating on this.
Oh fuck yeah!
I mean, don't go crazy.
Oh right. Okay.
Beep. Yeah.
Fudge yeah. What was I even
I
saying?
don't know. Something about
Well, it's like
Oh yeah, I'd put in a good innings, and then once I got bored of life, then I'd have amazing sex and die.
but from the looks of the ocean, it looked like as soon as they went in, they died instantly.
Yeah, it just bubbled into gruesome
It's like
goop. Yeah.
the jelly.
melted.
Yeah, the jelly
the
came
jelly
out,
came out of their pores,
and there's just melting lobsters everywhere.
Well, my fellow fish monsters.
Yeah.
That's how fish procreate. The one drops eggs, the other drops sperm on them. There's no kind of internal. That's why sex with a mermaid would be awful. 'Cause she just lay eggs and expect you to fertilize them. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Sex with Ariel is
that
not
comes
fun.
up with Fry later.
Yeah.
He dates a mermaid.
Yeah,
Does he?
Yeah.
Goes to Atlantis.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then,
right, yeah,
and
of
then when he
course.
realizes he doesn't know how to do it, he just bails.
Yeah. Voice.
Oh my god, who we didn't do?
I take it we've done Zoidberg before.
Yes, we've done Zoidberg.
I think we have to do Edna. Yeah, we need to do Edna.
Oh, okay.
Oh god.
And my female jelly. That was just my voice softer.
Yeah, it's just
Oh.
I can't do female voices. I'm sorry.
You sounded like the stereotypical gay character in animation. Or the one in Futurama.
Yeah, the one in Futurama. Yeah.
Calculon's back!
Calculon.
But I digress. Edna.
Teach
Teach me how to love Squishy Boy. That was just
Yeah.
me with a heightened pitch, really.
Such words of beauty.
I'm a witch. I don't know.
German?
Yeah.
German witch?
Such
Words of beauty. Oh, I can't do it.
Such words of beauty.
Such
yeah.
words. Oh god, I'm just doubling down now. You mean what? Oh, I can't just go German. Should I just do
This
it?
is what this segment is. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
saying it
horribly
for a
hard.
second, bailing out, cursing
Just
yourself, and then
trying
trying
it
again.
again.
My jelly's worth. No, that's just my voice. That's just my voice. I'm not doing anything.
You mean such words of beauty came from that hideous alien?
Stop doing German.
Hideous alien?
Oh, that
I
was,
don't know.
No, no
I give
winner.
up. I give up. I give up.
that was gold.
Pure,
This is why we're voice
pure
actors.
gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're voice actors.
Yeah.
For female characters, all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So we leave it to, Tress McNeil. Tress. Forget her name.
McNeil.
I think that's wrong. Put a voice actor.
Bring me McNeil.
You are not McNeil.
Oh, thank you, master. What we got next week?
Oh, Nick, just
Oh, yeah.
give me a chance to fire up the old.
Because we didn't see it. It's with the end of the disc, so we couldn't.
Oh
just
my
at a glance
God.
see it.
That's
I
right,
did
we're
have
using
it.
discs. We didn't download.
It's been paid for.
Hey, I bought
This is
season
home-
1 and 2 of Futurama.
This is home viewing as well. It's not for commercial purposes.
Yeah. The lesser of two evils. Hey, I'm Flexo.
Oh right, yeah, okay, yeah.
Which
yeah.
means, we get clamps.
Oh, clamps!
Clamps. and the mafia, the robot
Yeah,
mafia.
Robo Mafia.
Yeah.
Huh?
Come
Hey, I
on
like
with
this guy. How about we call him Clamps? That's my name!
Oh,
Love the Robot Mafia so
that's
much.
our voice acting done for the next.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
yeah. They keep introducing loads of really good characters throughout the season, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah. We've missed a few great ones. All right,
very
everyone.
bad.
If you want to email babybeardmedia@gmail.com, do it because no one does.
You should do it. You should be the
No,
first.
plenty of people do it. Follow the crowd. Do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, everyone does it.
Everyone
we read
loves.
It's the
every
in thing to do.
single
I read
email.
7 billion emails a day. I'm so exhausted.
Hey, if you write in, we might read your email on the podcast.
Exactly,
if
word
it's
for
like,
word.
if it's like
Word
if it's
for
like
word.
sensitive, obviously.
Yeah,
like,
we might. I said might.
maybe.
I mean, it's not something we've ever done before, but we might do it.
But with a PayPal transaction,
Pays for access,
Yeah.
for sure. What else? How else can they reach us? Sean?
Oh, I think if they Google us,
Google, Facebook.
yeah. Well, we have a unique name, Baby Beard Media.
and if they Facebook us, if they SoundCloud us, if they iTunes us, if
Go through all of the things, the social media and things we don't have every week.
is it MySpace,
We don't have a MySpace.
Pinterest. I don't know
Definitely,
why we'd be on
definitely
that,
not.
MSN Messenger,
but- Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, is that even a thing?
Grinder.
AOL.
Oh, well, speak for yourself. No, we're on Tinder as Baby Beard Media. Find us as a group. We go out with
You
us
get us
sometime.
as a group.
As the group, yeah,
As a
yeah,
group,
we're in that group profile. You can be the fourth baby in our beard.
Can't.
Speaking of which, Boss Baby. Let's not get into that.
That's not the word.
Okay. I have been Sean.
I've been James.
I've been Phil.
Until
Love
next
us.
time. Bye.
Bye.
Love us.
Bye.
Love us, please.
Perfect. Nailed it. I did see the trailer for the Kevin Spacey cat movie.
Where Kevin Spacey turns into a cat.
That is
Yeah.
that
And
is
I
what I
guess-
mean by Kevin Spacey cat movie. Yes.
Yeah. No, there's,
Pretty much
there's
exactly
more
what
than
I
one.
mean.
There's more than one.
There's not.
He's the new Catwoman.
Was he in Keanu?
He would do
No,
a
he
good
wasn't.
job.
Meow. Also,
Why did
speaking
they
of which,
remake Ben-Hur? It already exists. It's
They-
called Ben-Hur. It's really
that bombed
good.
hard, man. I'm glad it did. We'll get Pitch Perfect and Pitch Black together.
Oh.
So the singers
Yeah, that's-
land on an abandoned planet with Vin Diesel.
That is, I'd
that'd
watch
be
that.
And Vin Diesel can sing too, because fuck it, why not?
He plays all those like wordless kind of like
Yeah.
monotone characters.
Iron
like
Giant,
Iron
Groot.
Giant, Groot.
where he's most critically acclaimed.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we do a double feature of Power Rangers and then Lone Ranger?
Power Lone Ranger.
So
It's just one of them.
But as in the Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Power
version.
Rangers team up to fight Johnny Depp, who's giant and racist. And we'll just intersplice movies that just don't belong together.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a fun new podcast.
So we'll put like Martin Scorsese's Silence of the Lambs.
Or No, no.
It's
Well,
so
I was waiting for a good one there.
We'll put enemy at the gates with Dallas Villeneuve's enemy. Spice them together, make a World War II.
He's good at this.
Blade Runner with Run Fat Boy Run.
Blade Run for Fat Boy Run. He's an android. That's why he's running so fast. We'll do Flight of the Phoenix, but it's like Denzel Washington Flight, where he's a drunk pilot.
The Last Samurai's Crusade, where Sean Connery goes to Japan.
Triple X Men.
Yeah, Triple X Men. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that already exists. Man.
Not quite what I meant, but